What's up, Honors? Today we're talking about Spirit Halloween's scariest animatronics of all time, so let's get started. And to start off the video, we have what might be the scariest animatronic of all time. This guy, of course, is Spasm. The animatronic was made to resemble a deranged man in a straitjacket. When the animatronic was activated, he would begin to shake violently while making groaning noises. And I think one thing that really adds to how scary this guy is just how realistic it is. This guy looks almost like a real human. They did just a great job of making a perfect mold for this guy. And also that animation and audio I mentioned earlier also just really adds to the scariness of this guy. They did a great job on that too. And of course, for this animatronic here, it was sold at Spirit Halloween from 2005 until 2015 for $150. And overall, definitely one of the scariest animatronics of all time. And moving on, next up here, we've got a zombie animatronic. This guy, of course, is known as Eaten Alive. And Eaten Alive here is meant to resemble a zombie who's missing both arms, his lower body, and is, of course, being eaten by a rat. And when activated, this thing just looked so creepy. The man's head would move up and down, and the rat's tail would move back and forth while the man was screaming in pain. And this animatronic here, I think what really made it scary is just how disturbing the animatronic was. Because, again, with this guy, he looks very realistic, and he's just being devoured by this rat, which is just super creepy. I also love the overall look of him, how they made it more gory, which Spirit doesn't do too much nowadays, but like how they really went all out for this guy. And overall, this animatronic is really creepy, and they did also sort of bring it back in a way for 2024 with Rick the Ratman, who's basically the same idea where a rat is eating some zombie-themed guy. And overall, Eaten Alive here is a great animatronic. He was, of course, sold in 2011, retailed for $170, and is definitely another one of Spirit's scariest animatronics. And moving on to our next animatronic here, we have one which I actually just mentioned. This guy, of course, is Rick the Ratman, and he's another creepy one. So Rick Ratman here, although he is scary, I'd say that he's also probably the best animatronic from Spirit Halloween for 2024. I feel like he's also a very underrated animatronic this year because since Spirit made him online only, everyone has just forgotten about him. Anyways, Rick here is meant to resemble a zombie who's being eaten by rats. And when activated, Rick, of course, just moves around violently while making zombie noises. And for Rick here, I think the biggest thing that makes him scary is definitely the amount of gore. It feels like Spirit has really toned down the gore over the past so many years. So to see them just put so much into this guy, it's just so cool to see, and definitely makes him a more scary animatronic compared to lots of modern day stuff from Spirit. Now, I do think they could have done a little bit better, make him a bit scarier, but for what he is, he's a pretty creepy animatronic. And anyways, Rick Ratman here was, of course, sold at Spirit Halloween from 2024 and possibly into the future, and he retailed for $200, and overall, this guy, another scary animatronic. And moving on, next up here, we've got our first jump scare animatronic on the list. This guy is the Incinerator. So the Incinerator here is meant to resemble a burnt corpse hiding inside of this incinerator. And then once activated, he pops out really fast. And you also hook up fog to this to come out of the thing. And this guy, I think he's a scary one for a few different reasons. One thing, of course, is that jump scare. I know some jump scares can be kind of slow, but this guy's is really fast. Also, the look of it's creepy, like the Incinerator looks spooky, how it has the red light in the grills there, they can kind of see. And if you have this hidden in a dark corner, it just looks so spooky. And then also the guy that pops out of it, they did a great job making him. He has some really awesome detail, and yeah, that face there just looks so scary. Anyways, a little fun fact for all of you Spirit fans out there. This animatronic was actually the first to be produced by Crazy Crate for Spirit Halloween. And the Incinerator here was, of course, sold in 2015 for $180. And overall, another creepy one. And next up here, we've got another zombie animatronic, which honestly, zombies are probably just the scariest animatronics out there. But anyways, this guy here is the limb-eaten zombie boy. And the limb-eaten zombie boy here is meant to resemble this little crouching zombie boy who, when activated, will turn his head side to side and then go to take a big bite of that arm he's holding right there. And for this guy here, there's a few things that makes him really creepy. One thing is definitely the audio on him. I think they did a great job selecting the audio for it because it sounds really creepy. Another thing too is just the overall look of this guy is awesome. I love how he has the white glowing eyes there, which makes him look like he's kind of like this possessed zombie. And then all the gore there and the arm they take a bite of, and then just all over his face and shirt there, just all the blood. It all looks awesome and just adds to the creepiness of it. And overall, I'd also have to say that he's one of my favorite animatronics of all time. Definitely in the top 5 for me. He's really creepy. I'd love to see him return, and anyways, he's definitely one of the creepiest ones ever from Spirit. And a couple other things about him. He, of course, was sold at Spirit Halloween from 2013 until 2015 and retailed for originally $150.
All gone. And you're next!
And finally, everyone, I've got one more creepy animatronic to show all of you for today. This one right here is, of course, the Broken Girl. And this animatronic here is meant to resemble a possessed girl just standing around randomly. And then once you activate her, she bends her back all the way backwards to look at you, and then she starts turning her head. And I think the biggest thing that makes this a scary animatronic is just how it's a more disturbing one, because how she bends her back so far back like that is just so creepy and just not normal. Another thing too is just the overall look of it. The face there, they did a really great job. It looks awesome. And then the white glowing eyes there is another great feature. And of course, the outfit too they chose for is also sort of creepy. One thing I will say though is I hate how it just uses that generic audio. I wish they would have done something more original or better. But anyways, this animatronic is still a really spooky one. Overall, a great animatronic, and it of course was sold at Spirit Halloween from 2014 until 2017 and retailed for $200. Anyways, that's it for today's video, everyone. Hopefully you did enjoy. This was only some of Spirit's creepiest animatronics. There's a lot more that they've produced over the years, just way too much to talk about in one video. But anyways, I'll probably have a part 2 coming out sometime in the future. But for now, if there's an animatronic I didn't mention on today's list that you think is scary, definitely mention it down below. Or if you have comments about some of the animatronics I mentioned in this video, definitely comment those down below. Anyways, I'll see you all next time. Make sure to like and subscribe. Goodbye.